everyone, it's Mio, and today I'm going to do a remake of a previous tutorial I've done before. I'm going to show you how to make this really cute Jasmine character from Disney. Over the years, my workmanship has really improved, so I wanted to recreate the things that I've created before that I absolutely love, but of course made slight modifications. So as you can tell, this Jasmine is actually a lot smaller than my previous Jasmine, and I painted in the eyes and took a slightly different take on this character than I did previously. So if you want more videos like these, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already, and let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to start off by making Jasmine's head, and you're going to take a nude colored clay and roll it into a ball, and with your thumb you're going to flatten the upper 2/3 of the piece of clay, and you can see the bottom part kind of poofs out a little bit, and this is going to form the nose and cheeks of Jasmine. I think by making a head like this, it makes the character look really cute and more three-dimensional. With a black piece of clay, you're going to roll this into a flat sheet about 3 to 4 millimeters thick. You want to make sure that the clay is large enough to wrap around the entire piece of head that you created earlier. And with a blade, I'm just going to cut out a small little triangle like so, and I'm going to round off the edges, and this is going to form the bangs of Jasmine's hair. Once you're happy with smoothing out the edges, position the piece of clay on the top of the head and wrap the clay around the cheeks and face of Jasmine. It's okay if you have a lot of extra clay in the back, as you can see here, but you want to make sure the bangs are in the center, and you're just going to make sure to tighten off all the extra clay, and with the blade we're actually going to remove and cut off all the extra pieces. But the important part is to make sure that the front part looks good. So as you can see here, I've already started removing all the extra clay in the back, and with my hands and a clay tool, I'm just going to smooth out the back so it looks like one piece of hair. So you want to make sure all the edges and the extra clay gets rubbed off evenly. So this is what Jasmine's head looks like so far. As you can see, the front, the bangs look really well, and the back is really smooth out. Moving on to the headpiece, I'm going to take some turquoise piece of clay and roll this into a long thin snake. You want to make sure that this is as thin as possible. I would say about 1 millimeter in diameter would be ideal. And I'm going to wrap this piece of clay around the forehead to form what looks like her crown, and there's going to be a center jewel in her crown. So with a small piece of yellow clay, I'm going to roll a tiny little circle, roll it a little bit so that it forms a little oval, and flatten it, and this is going to be the gold piece that holds her gem. So with a darker piece of blue, green, teal colored clay, I'm going to put a gem down the center, and this is going to be Jasmine's jewel that is on the center of her headpiece. Go ahead and place this right above her bangs, and you're also going to make some earrings for Jasmine. I'm just taking some yellow clay and forming little triangles and putting them on the side of her ears. And for the rest of her hair, she has this really cute little braid down the center, so I'm going to form a little black teardrop, as you see here, and I'm going to roll the very tip a little bit to form the little curl that forms the end of her hair piece. And with that, you're going to need 2 black pieces of circles, and you're going to stick them together, and this is going to form the 2 top pieces of hair right below her braid, and you're going to stick the little curl piece you had in the end together. Now to hold all these pieces together, I'm using a piece of metal wire. I think it just holds the pieces better together, and sometimes when you bake them you lose pieces. So I'm just going to stick them through the center of each of the 3 pieces, and I'm going to line them with a turquoise ribbon because Jasmine has that in the movie, so I'm just taking a small piece of clay, wrapping each of the hair pieces, and that forms her braid in the back. For her clothing, I'm going to start with her pants. I took some turquoise clay and formed 2 tiny little teardrops. Here is my first teardrop, and you're going to stick 2 little teardrops together, and these are going to form her pants. To form her body, you're going to need some nude colored clay that matches the skin tone you had earlier for the head. Roll it into a really thick snake. You want to make sure that this is about a good centimeter thick, maybe a little bit less than that, maybe 7 to 8 millimeters. Cut off a small chunk, and I'm going to cut off the edges so it forms a little triangle tip down the center, as you can see here. And this is where I'm going to stick the 2 little teardrops I created earlier. That was her pants, and this is going to be her torso. To line her pants, I took some gray turquoise clay, and I actually lined each part of the top part of her pants to form the little decorative piece you see in Disney. And of course, her top is kind of like a bra top, so I just took some circle clay and put them in the center. Once you're happy with how the torso and the clothing looks, you're going to attach 2 little arms onto Jasmine's body. I just rolled some small nude colored clay into tiny little snakes and put them on both sides. And of course, you're going to need a piece of metal down the center. So I use this piece of metal to hold the head and body together. To finish off Jasmine's top, I took some extra turquoise clay and I wrapped these tiny pieces of clay around each of the arms near the shoulder because she kind of has an off-shoulder top. And that's pretty much what her top looks like. When you're happy and done with your clothing piece, this is what your character should look like so far. All you're missing are some feet, so I just took some tiny piece of turquoise clay, formed them to tiny little teardrops, and stuck them on the bottom of her pants. To give Jasmine's face some color, I'm using some chalk that I bought at Walmart. Using the red part, I'm just going to brush it gently on her cheeks with a paintbrush, and this will give it a very similar color to blush like you would on when you put on your makeup. And I'm going to go ahead and attach the back part of her hair to her head just by sticking the metal in and positioning it so it curls to tip where I want to. And this is what your character should look like so far. Now before I bake this, I'm actually going to paint on the face. I'm just using some regular acrylic paint and a tiny paintbrush, and I'm going to start by painting the eyes. You can paint the face however you want. The way I painted the eyes actually are very similar to anime eyes, and of course by all means they are not perfect. You can paint the exact same eyes that Jasmine has in the actual Disney movie. It's just really easy for me to default to regular anime eyes. And so this is what her eyes turned out. I gave her some brown eyes, and of course I made sure that her pupils sparkled. And don't forget to give her a really tiny lip. I also took some turquoise nail polish and I painted the top part of her gem so that it has a really nice, shiny, glittery color to it. Go ahead and bake your character piece in the oven for 20 minutes at 250 degrees Fahrenheit. If you want to bake your character first and then paint the face, you absolutely can. Either one works. And this is what my character clay piece looks like. I think it turned out really cute, and I think it's much improved from my previous Jasmine I made several years ago. What I love most is that it's actually a lot smaller, and I think it turned out a lot cuter with the different techniques that I picked up over the years. I hope you guys really enjoyed this tutorial. For more like these, please subscribe and give me a thumbs up if you haven't already. And do check out my other social media websites such as Instagram and Twitter for more tutorials to come. Thank you guys so much for watching, and leave in the comments below whether or not you want me to make more Disney characters. Bye everyone, and good luck.